Hazel, you want to go to the park? You want to go to the park? I was born and raised in Boston, and then I did my surgical training there, and then I did a surgical fellowship in New York City. My first faculty position was in St. Louis, and we moved out there and thinking we would stay for 5 years, and we stayed for 15 years. So it was a nice place to raise kids, but we were kind of glad to come back east. The thing I like about Rochester is it's kind of the best of both worlds. You have that kind of northeast strive to be better, but you also have some of those Midwestern sensibilities where people look after each other and tries to help each other out. Hazel, stay. I like to stay as fit as I can, so I like to be on my bicycle. There's so many great places around the Finger Lakes to do that. Everybody has to know how to de-stress and how to recharge their batteries. This is the way that I do it. I love being here at sunrise with the dog, being outdoors, getting some exercise. You know, when you are leading an organization that has 27,000 employees, you want to make sure that the environment that we create in the workplace is one where people feel like they can succeed. You did better than anybody else. Like right on the spot.
The team I have around me, I mean, obviously this is a big job and I can't do it alone. I have to know what I have to do myself versus what I can delegate. And my colleagues that are the chairs of the departments, both the clinical and the scientific departments here, are all stellar people. And so that's the key to success, is surrounding yourself by stellar, smart, motivated people that want to make a difference in the world to see how the magic happens. And I always say I'll take shiny people over shiny buildings any day. We're sitting in a nice shiny building in the Wilmot Cancer Institute. I'd like to have both.
My old stomping grounds for the Department of Surgery. You can see the pictures of all of the former surgical trainees for the last 100 years all hung up. Hi guys.
Hi. Research obviously is something very near and dear to my heart. I've had a research lab for over 2 decades now, and one of the things that is important about research is you need very basic and fundamental science, and then you need translational research, and then clinical trials and quality and safety improvement and all those things.
Thinking if you could take the responder and all the controls are dead at some time point and the responders are all still alive.
There's a spirit of collaboration where those folks really talk to each other. That's one of the exciting things about being at a place like this. So I'm not seeing new patients, but I'm seeing the patients that are already established with me. When you're a pancreatic cancer surgeon and specialist, you have a very intense relationship with your patients. To see the long-term survivors is very reinvigorating and very important. And I always tell the patients when we're starting the journey, at 5 years, if you're coming back for the 5-year appointment, make it the last appointment of the day and bring a bottle of champagne, bring the good stuff, not the cheap stuff, and we'll have a toast that to your 5-year survival. And actually, I just in clinic the other day, somebody came with the champagne, so it's fantastic. You know, I don't even call it work-life balance because it's not balance, it's management. One of my mentors told me, you know, pay attention to your kids because they don't read your CV. They don't care that you have this important job. And my youngest son, Eric, he went to boarding school for a year when he was a sophomore or junior. But they had this college fair where they put the kids in a bus and brought them to Boston. There was a booth there for the University of Rochester. He went up and he said, oh, you know, I'm from Rochester, but I go to school in Maine now. But my dad works at the University of Rochester. And the person at the booth said, oh, what does your dad do? And all of a sudden my phone rings and it was my son, Eric, and he says, Dad, what do you do at the University of Rochester? I had a discussion with my wife about it because, you know, my job becomes her job.
Well, people always ask me, like, you know, how are you doing and how's his transition? And I mean, he's been a surgeon since the day we met. This is just an extension of what we're used to. You know, we have some weekends off. There's not a lot of late nights. I really push for him to do that. And
so how is it?
Dave, I'm in the middle of my interview. For God's
am I interrupting it? Okay.
This is our real life.
We also have this core mission around educating the next generation. So that training piece and the education piece is really important.
Can I just say something really quickly? Can I have everyone's attention just for 1 second? I just wanted to welcome you all here. One of the things that, you know, so I think most of you know that I recently took over this position as the CEO and Dean. I talked to David Linehan and some other people, and I said I want to get out and talk to the medical students and meet with the medical students. You know, when you're the CEO, they kind of lock you in this cage and people come to you. So my door's always open, and I want to hear from y'all.
Am I happy? Don't I look happy? One of the nice things about this position is that I can have an impact on a much bigger scale. And so I feel very blessed.